If you're applying for a green card or citizenship or anything in the immigration space, you need to be in control of your case from start to finish. And that is true even if you have a lawyer. You need to make sure that you are creating a paper trail in the event that you ever need to sue the government for anything. And that is regardless of who's in the White House, regardless of the political climate of immigration. You want to make sure that you know what's happening in your case, that you're tracking how long it takes USCIS to process your case, and you want to make sure that you're doing things that can help to support your case in the event that you need to sue them. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm Bianca Jordan. I'm an immigration lawyer and I've been doing this work for 15 years. And then I started this company, Greenlight Your Green Card, because I want to help people who either can't hire a lawyer or, quite frankly, don't want to have the tools and resources needed to navigate their green card process on their own. For more information, you can visit greenlightgreencard.com. Okay, so at a minimum, you're going to need a receipt notice. And you get a receipt notice once USCIS has accepted your case. It's very important to note that an acceptance does not mean an approval. You will get an acceptance just because the applications have been signed where they need to be signed. The filing fee, if applicable, is correct, and all the pages are included in the application packet. That is it. If that happens, then USCIS is going to accept your case and then they're going to send you a receipt notice that has a number that you can use to track the status of your case online. And so I'm going to show you what that looks like just in case you're not aware. So this is what a receipt notice looks like. You're going to see it says receipt. It's going to have the notice date on it, which is the date of, when they're giving you the notice. It's also going to have the received date. And that's what's really going to be important for what I'm going to show you today. It's going to show you when they actually received your application. And then if there's a priority date, then they'll show you what the priority date for your case is as well. So with this information, you are going to make note of the received date, which in this example is December 4th, 2025. And so what you are going to do is you are going to go to uscis.gov, as you can see here. And I want you to go to the part where it says check processing times. You're going to click check processing times. They have this verification thing now to make sure that you are a human being. And then you are going to scroll down to the form that you are applying for. So in our example, it is Form I-485. And so you're going to scroll down to Form I-485. And then you're going to select the category. And in our situation, it's going to be family-based adjustment of status. So you're going to select that. Next, you're going to select the field office or service center. Sometimes the receipt notice will have that information on it. At the bottom left-hand side, you'll see USCIS office address. You'll see the service center or where it is. And in our example, it is Texas. And so we are going to select Texas. And sometimes it gives you a specific city, sometimes it does not. Ours is Irving, Texas, so we're going to look to see if we see Irving, Texas. If we don't have Irving, Texas on the drop down, then what we can do is select the closest city to that. And so I don't know what the closest city is to Irving, Texas, so let's just say it's Houston. This isn't going to make that big of a deal. And so once you get to this part, you're going to select Get Processing Time. And it's going to tell you how long it's going to take for them estimated to process your case. And so here it's telling you 10 and a half months. Next, you're going to scroll down to the bottom where it says, when is your receipt date? You're going to put in that date of the received date that is on your receipt notice. So in our example, it's December 5th, 2025. So we are going to go back to December 5th, 2025, get inquiry date. The inquiry date is the date, which is the first date that you can contact USCIS to start to harass them and bug them about your case. So if you click on the inquiry date, it's going to tell you that your case is processing normally. And it's going to say that the earliest that you can contact them to submit questions about your case is February 4th, 2028. So this piece of information means two things. Number one, this 10 and a half month processing time is BS. Most of the time, the time frame that you see in this section here is BS, number one. Number two, you can be sure that your case is probably going to take about 2 years to process because right now, as of the date of this video, it is March 4th, 2026. So USCIS is saying that this case could possibly take about 2 years. And so basically they're saying, don't bother us about your case until this date hits. Don't bother us about your case for another 2 year period. So this is what I want you to do at this time when you see this screen. I want you to save it. You can either print it or you can save it as a PDF. If you save it as a PDF, I want you to save it such that you have the date and time in the header. So I'm going to see if it lets me do that here so that I can show you that example. You're going to save as a PDF and you're going to save it as whatever. But notice how there's a time and date at the top because it gives you the option to print with headers and footers. You have to do this when you're printing because otherwise it's just going to be like you're printing a page and there's not going to be any timestamp for when you check that. The timestamp is important because you want to show that on March 4th, 2025, 2026, or whatever date you're checking your case, that there's proof that on that date, USCIS said that your case would take 10 and a half months and that they said the earliest that you can contact them about your case was February 2028. And this is important because I promise you, 9 out of 10 times, if you go back in a couple months, even if you were to go back in a month maybe and do this again, this might change and this date down here might change. And they're constantly moving the goalpost. But if you have proof that when you checked it, they said 10 and a half months, they said, February 4th, 2028, then if that keeps moving, then you can say, hey, they're dragging their feet on my case, and that's not cool. And if your case starts to take too long, then what you may want to do is you may want to consult with an immigration lawyer who specializes in what's called a writ of mandamus, which is an immigration lawsuit. So saving your proof like this with the timestamp is going to help that lawyer because they'll be able to see, oh, hey, USCIS told my client a couple years ago that their case would be processed generally within that time frame and that they could contact them on February 4th, 2028 about the case. Now it's February 4th, 2028. Case is still pending, but now USCIS is telling my client that they can't contact USCIS until 2030. This isn't fair. USCIS keeps moving the goalpost. Now we sue. So having things like that is going to be very helpful. Another thing that'll be very helpful is if you happen to go to uscis.gov again and you go to tools and you do an e-request and you make a case inquiry or any of these things, same thing. When you put in that inquiry, make sure that you're saving a copy either as a PDF with the headers and footers or that you're saving because again, you want to show that you have been making effort to follow USCIS's system and process. You have been contacting them. You have been waiting X amount of time before you contact them. And then when you do, you still don't get any word back from them. So this is how you start to put your own case together. So that way, in the unlikely event that you're going to have to sue the government to take some action on your case, you're prepared. I hope you found this video helpful. Please like it, share, subscribe to this channel so that you can get more tips and tricks as you're going through your immigration journey. And visit greenlightgreencard.com to learn more about the resources that we have for people who want to go on the process on their own, but would feel a little bit better with an attorney in their pocket. Thanks for watching.